let me see. So there was one more question that Liba asked. Liba, I'm gonna come and ask you to unmute here. So Liba actually says, will I be upgrading to the Bernina 990? Rumor has it there will be a large hoop that's bigger than the jumbo hoop, and will I design new designs to use the larger hoop? Liba, if you want to unmute here, interestingly enough, Tim from Mad Bees called me. Mad Bees is the Bernina dealership over in Mesa, and Tim is their tech. Tim actually is Madonna's husband, Madonna as in the Mad Bee. And he was calling me to say, hey, we got a special deal going on the 990. Do you want one? So if you are thinking about this Bernina 990, it is the long-awaited, brand new, over-the-top tech explosion from Bernina. And apparently, if you had Berninas in the past, when they have released a new one, people buy them, and then there's a fairly long waiting period until you actually get one in your hands. Well, apparently they've kind of done things a little bit differently this time, and they have a whole stack of machines that are ready to go when the machine's actually released officially in June. I think it's at the end of June. And so some of the Bernina dealers are able to pre-sell these machines, and they have all kinds of different deals on them. I'm going to leave it. If you're interested, go talk to your Bernina dealer about them. It's not my place to let the cat out of the bag about whatever the deal is. Go talk to your Bernina dealer about that. But will I be upgrading to one of them? I don't actually have a plan to at the moment. I'm planning on moving to probably Tucson over the summer. Interesting timing going on here. I'm going to be an empty nester any minute now with Jasmine going off to college. So my priority right now is on moving, not buying a new embroidery machine. The deal with the bigger hoop, and I was actually talking to Marilyn about this earlier in the week. I actually would love to hear from any of you who have the Solaris or the Luminaire and the bigger hoop that comes with that, or the M17 Continental, whatever it's called. Joe, I know you have one. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Who else has one? Susie has one. Who else has one of the Solaris or the Luminaire? The brother Solaris, the brother Luminaire, or the Baby Lock Solaris, or the Janome Continental. Anybody else have one? How often do you two use your big hoop?
I will use my large magnetic hoop before I will the big baby lock hoop. And the reason why for me is, unfortunately, baby lock, the largest hoop, is not as stable as like the Bernina largest hoop is really not stable. And the baby lock isn't as stable. It seems to be a little flimsy. So I don't use my baby lock largest hoop as much as I do the dime largest hoop.
Now, so you're talking the 240 by 360 hoop?
On the largest?
Well, the 240 by 360 is not the largest. There's the 240 by 360, and then I think the super duper one is something like 270 by
it's 272 by 408.
Okay, so that hoop you're not using a huge amount.
I don't use it as often as I do the really large dime hoop.
Okay, which is the 240 by 360.
Right, and I'm just going to assume, being as I had the opportunity to work with a Bernina hoop once, I'm gonna assume that if they make that really large hoop, like they've made those your jumbo hoop or mega hoop, whatever you call it, that's
Right.
gonna be a great hoop because the uh, hoop itself is more sturdy and the tightening mechanism is probably going to be better than the baby lock. Just my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. That's actually interesting because when I used when the Brother Luminaire first came out, I was able to use that really big hoop, and I had the same feeling about it. It's not as sturdy. The Bernina Jumbo hoop is a very sturdy hoop.
And the baby lock and the brother, when you have it on the machine embroidering, it'll chatter against the
Hmm.
sewing bed, and I don't like that. I suppose you could put felt or something, but I shouldn't have to. So,
Right.
um, in my humble little opinion, technology-wise, Bernina did a lot better job designing their hoops than Baby Lock and Brother. I
Okay.
can't believe I just said
Interesting.
that, but I did.
That's okay. Um,
And that's why I use my dime hoop more than I do my largest Baby Lock hoop because the dime hoop is completely rigid.
right, magnetic one,
Yes.
even though you've not got as big of an area, although because Meryl and I were talking about
Well, it's pretty big.
how big do you need to go beyond the 240 by 360? You know, in terms of applique,
The only time it's really handy, and I do use my largest giant hoop on Baby Lock when I am quilting sometimes because the quilt holds it in there tighter.
right. Yeah,
So,
quilting is potentially a really good reason to have, you know, the bigger the better as far as quilting goes. As far as applique goes, it's like there's only really so far, you know, you can take the size of one applique shape. A project like let's say Sunshine Cove, where you've got lots of small pieces coming together, maybe you might want to go that big.
well, and it's only a occasion that I will use my biggest hoop on the Baby Lock. Um, Even for quilting, I will use my dime hoop, and I have the really big dime hoop, so it's got to be about the same size as the 272 by 408.
Okay, is it actually the equivalent to that hoop?
Mhm. It's pretty big,
Okay, okay.
and and the reason why I prefer using dime for the quilting is because I can move my quilt while my hoop is still on the machine.
Okay, good to know. Well, thank you for your words of wisdom here.
Oh, you're welcome. But Bernina does have, in my opinion, the corner of the market on their hoops above
Bernina
everybody.
does have great hoops, yes, and the ratchet mechanism on them versus the screw mechanism makes it really easy to get the outer hoop opened up, especially if you're putting a quilt in there.
Well, Baby Lock and Bernina, no, Baby Lock and Brother now have on their largest hoop, it's not a screw, there's a screw on it, but now it's a closing clamp on it.
Huh, I haven't seen that then.
That's the largest hoop, has the closing clamp, and
Okay,
maybe the size down, but anyway, sorry.
that's okay. Okay. So for Leva's question, am I going to be upgrading to the Bernina 990? Not immediately, purely because I have other priorities. And quite frankly, I don't know what to do with all the embroidery machines that I do have right now. It's like, do I really want to add another one in there? Who knows? Maybe one day. So, okay.